I thought for the next probably 12 months I'd give you a look at what life is like on the tiny city farm with a slightly different view. So what we're going to do is at the end of each month I'll put the video out with the bulk of what's happened that month, and that'll give you a feel for how the seasons flow over here, because I'm very confident they're quite different to a lot of other YouTube channels I see in Europe and America. So hopefully you'll enjoy that and come along for the journey. G'day folks, Andy here from McDowell Manor. Sitting on the pizza oven is a water dragon. Now we call it Sam, which is actually short for Samantha because it's a young female. And now they've really only just started coming out, and it's because we're 2/3 of the way through spring, but for some reason it's actually been quite cool, and it's been very wet. Been quite cool, and so now that we've got 30 plus days in as a spring should be, the wildlife's coming back out. We do actually have peaches. As you can see, they're bagged or netted because otherwise they just get stung crazy. You know, it's not a bumper crop, but it's not a bad crop. I'll take it. So the yard is still in a bit of disarray. Mind you, it's a heck of a lot better than it was. Which is great, so I'm happy about that. That's still there on its side because I'm going to sand it off to get rid of the rust and repaint it all, so that'll be good. I haven't really started on the Japanese garden yet, but we'll get there. That's a feijoa or pineapple guava. Now there's a heck of a lot of flowers on that, so I'm thinking we'll probably get a pretty good crop. The Californian quails have finally escaped, both of them, so they're gone. Good riddance to bad rubbish. The Japanese quails are doing quite well. I've already culled about 8 males, which you can't see, but there's a group still here. There's 4, I think 5, so a couple of them have got to go as well. Too much crowing, and someone's going to complain if I don't cull them down. Shops won't take them. On the topic of quails, I've only got 4 older girls. The quails aren't long-lived, so as much as I'm culling males, see that bloke down there? Jeez, he's noisy. As much as I'm culling males, I'll show you what else that happens in spring in an Aussie little tiny farm. Flicker. That's the incubator, and we've got about 18 eggs in, maybe 20 in. They're only on about day 3, so we'll see how that goes too. Spring, of course, is when I need to breed them up so I can grow them over summer and hopefully get them into the lay. Yeah, males are an endangered species on the tiny farm. But not the girls. So I've got a batch of rum there I'm about to put down. I've got a batch of beer there. Well, by put down, I'm about to still. I've got a batch of beer there, which is ready to be bottled as well. So the distillery has continued. So that's good. Hear that bird? That's that quail. He's going to taste good stuffed with apple and chili. We have some tiny little fruit, finger lime fruits, so that'll be exciting if I can get a few of them. Winter's over. We're getting a bit of sun on this bed, and it's just started to take off, as you can see from the tomato there. So I'm really looking, mind you, we've been doing well all over winter. We did well for shallots, so I'm not really complaining. I'll get round to replanting those little flat beds sometime now that there's sun in the yard. The size of this shallot here. It's where it was a leek, fair dinkum. It's a beauty. You can see I just, I've obviously cut that off somewhere down here. And this is all new growth here now. Fabulous, isn't it? Never-ending saga of shallots. I let them go to seed, and the seed drops in and plants itself, so I'll get a few more, which is great. How good is that? So there are actually some whoppers, as you can see. They're mixed ages, so some are quite much smaller than others. Well, that's a big one. And yes, they're edible, jade perch. Beautiful toasting fish they are. So like I say, we have actually been eating quite a bit over winter and the early parts of spring. Especially the silver beet goes in. I've learned a whole lot of different dishes for silver beet. Spanner chorizo, everyone knows spanner coppita. We've been doing all sorts of stuff, and I just use them as spinach. But the hot's here, and I think, well, certainly after next month, halfway through I reckon, next month, we're really going to have slowed down on food production. That's why I do things like can past the sauce. It's just too hot. Things wilt over and die. So we'll do the spring changeover. So the silver beet will come out because it doesn't do any good in blazing heat. So we have been eating significant, like I mean, probably 3 kilos of silver beet over winter. It's a star performer. These lettuces, we're trying, they're a bit wilty because it's bloody hot. We're trying them in the shade to see if we can get them through. Also been doing pretty well in terms of cherry tomatoes. You can see this silver beet's getting pretty wilty now. It'll probably come back later in the day. For those that don't know, that is a thing called warrigal greens. Now we've only really just started, it's doing really well. So we've only really just started eating that one, and I've got to say, you need to blanch it because it's got a bit of oxalic acid in it. But give it a quick blanch and that solves that problem. It's turned out to be another really good spinach alternative for us. The lychee tree, I really am hoping to get lychees, but you don't know. The weather's been crazy. Blueberry. There's a fair few little blueberries on the both bushes. So that's good. We might get a blueberry crop soon. In fact, that one I might even eat. No, he didn't. Oh, he did come off easy. Yum. That's a curry tree. There's a few citrus on around the place. That's a peanut butter fruit. I'd never heard of a peanut butter fruit. It kind of tastes like a cross between a date and a little bit peanut buttery. Not a lot, just a little. You can see the sorrels wilting. It's actually doing all right. It's just the heat. We're right in the middle of the day. Those lettuces are just about cactus. I won't plant more lettuces in the sun. Oh, that's parsley. I'll have to cut all this. It's going to seed, so I'll cut the top out of that. Like I say, I've been doing very well with cherry tomatoes, so I'm going to come out and pick them soon, and I'll show you what happens to them. And it's about time to do the tomato prep. We've got another bunch of shallots in there. Now some of them, that one, see that row there? That's actually walking leeks. Now it looks like I've lost one. I'll fix him up later. This silver beet's looking okay. So I just sort of chop off leaves as I want them, and then I've got combined celery and spinach pretty much. We've been eating this is the first time we've grown, well, Ozzie actually did the growing, beetroot. So it seems to be going pretty well, and we've been eating a lot of the greens. That's what it looks like when it's not wilted in the sun. It's actually quite good eating. Chives and stuff all down there. That's a little avocado tree in a pot. That's a choco. Now I'm really hoping soon we'll have a choco boom, because it's a great little producer. That's a japoticaba, don't know what variety, and it's too young to be flowering and fruiting yet. I noticed, so Rosie's put in some beans. She's also plonked in a cucumber, a little Lebanese cucumber. I can't see what you can see because it's too sunny for me here. Hopefully you saw that. Look at the flowers on it. So pretty soon, we did pretty well with the cucumber last year. Got a couple of kilo out of that last year, so I'm hoping to at least get that again. That's a bush basil. More silver beet under there. So yeah, things have been going well. You know, obviously the house painting threw everything into catastrophic disarray. We've been doing extremely well with flowers. It's obviously coming up to Halloween, folks. We've had some really pretty roses. I'm going to be able to trim that bed of grass. I use that as mulch. So I'll trim all that soon again. That's the trouble with spring, everything grows like mad. There is a good crop of pigeon pea up there, so I'll have to get up there and do that. Now pigeon pea, if you treat it like a lentil, is actually really good and really useful. I make it, what I reckon anyway, is a cracking dal out of that. Gooseberries, we've had a fair few gooseberries. They're doing okay. I was very happy. Certainly been getting some very impressive roses. Quite a lot of them. He says on a day where there's not very many, but you can see there's a bud up there. 3 little red ones down here. The roses have done very well by us this season, which is great. Turmeric back on the footpath. So remember, I got a bumper crop of that again, so that's been great. I think I did get, that's galangal, so I'll have to dig that out and have a crack at it soon. I think I put a bit of video up of the hippeastrums, or lilies in flower. If you volunteer tomatoes like to come up, happy with that. We do have little mangoes on board now. Now because it was so wet, there you go, there's a couple on that flower spot. Because it was so wet, it got a fungus in the flower spike, which has caused a fair bit of mayhem, but I think we will get mangoes. So if I can get a kilo or so of mangoes, I'll be a happy little camper. So that's what's been happening. Just to complete aside, since I was on the footpath, the lilies are really putting on a show, aren't they? Got one more inside that's a double, like that red on the right there. It's a double, but it's white. That's that double white one I was talking about. It's quite nice, isn't it? So I just grabbed a handful of those out from out there. As you can see, I have to get them well and truly before they're ripe. There's a couple of different sorts. That one's not bad, it's just a different sort. They get eaten. Now either rats or possums, or there's some weird big fat grub eats a hole in them as well. But anyway, I get them and I bring them in. I sit them in this dish here, and then I put them into sandwich bags, which I then shove in the freezer. Like that, and like that. So I've actually got getting quite a number now. So sometime in the next couple of weeks, I'll definitely can up a whole lot of different pasta sauces. So I'll do an episode on that when I do it. Remember I said about the Lebanese cucumbers? They're in the fridge. Trying a new thing, you probably said that a lot better, called Mammoth. sandwich salsify. Now, salsify, sorry about the voice in the background, that's Dave, me neighbour, good bloke. Salsify is like a carrot or a parsnip, but it tastes apparently like oyster, so I thought I'd give it a crack and see what we reckon. And the chickens have been on the lay for about 3 or 4 weeks now, which is great. So I tend to get 4 chicken eggs a day and about 4 quail eggs. So about a week ago, I remember saying on video, oh yeah, the bees are all doing good. Well, doesn't that change quickly? So I'm presuming you guys can see the little black dots everywhere. That's the native bees. So normally you'd expect this sort of degree of... They're a bit annoyed because I moved that pot. That's the other hive. But I had one that had no activity, which is always sort of a danger sign. I had a fair old guess what was going to happen. So I've taken the tape off and I can see it's full of maggots. So the hive's dead is what that boils down to. I'm just going to open it up and have a look inside. Well, that's certainly a stinking mess, isn't it? Maggots. There's a beetle in there. I'm wondering if it's small hive beetles got in. I'd say that's what that is. Mongrel guts. Okay. What a mess, can't believe it. Lost the whole hive, folks. Very sad about that. But it is what it is. Hopefully this year I'll get to, I'll do it probably towards the end of summer. I'll try and split one of the others. Not happy, Jan? Now luckily it's bin night, so I've put it back together. I'm just going to throw that whole thing in and they can take it away. Otherwise I've got to try and work out some way to bleach the guts out of it, and it's easier just to throw the box away. That's one of my old style boxes I made out of softwood, which you can't do. So no great loss except for the bees. Well, that's pretty much it for our October episode. So 2/3 of spring is over. It's been the weirdest spring I've ever seen, I think. The ground's finally dried out. This is the first week that I've really been able to do much. So the first week I've really been able to get out, and it's been spring. Before that it's been wet, it's been raining, nothing like our normal spring. Now bear in mind we normally get our wet season in summer, so it beats me. Anyway, that's it. So I've got a month till summer really hits us hard. Although I'm already feeling it, I've got to tell you. So that means the big jobs have got to get done. So that'll be my priority next month, is fix up the kumquats, get them out, and work out what you want to replace them with. Doug suggested Dipodycarba, which may well be a really good option. I'll run that up Rozzie's flagpole. And we'll try and get the worst of the big stuff done. Here's for a busy month. Let's hope it stays fine, eh? Alright, thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying this series. See ya.